Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys all had a wonderful day. I'm really annoyed right now because I already recorded this video on my other phone, and then I looked at the phone and realized it said it's not recording, like no more storage. Like, holy crap. So this is my second take on this video. I'm not impressed because I got to do this all over again. God damn. So this video is, I'm actually on my way to visit my dad and his girlfriend. They're going to Jamaica. They go to Jamaica for 6 months every single year around this time. They're both retired and they're just living life and enjoying their retirement, which is awesome. They totally deserve it. So I'm actually just gonna go visit before they leave tomorrow. So yeah. So I have a question for you guys. When was the last time you called that special person in your life and told them that you love them? When was the last time you did that? And that special person could be mom, dad, friends, a best friend, just a good friend, just somebody you haven't seen in a very long time. Yeah, think about it. When was the last time you actually called that special person and told them that you love them? If it's been a while, after you watch this video, I urge you, I plead to you to call that person and tell them how much they mean to you and how much you love them. Because trust me, you may not get another time, another chance to say those words, I love you, to that person. Because you know what? Tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. You may think it is, but it really isn't. Your life is already written. God already has a plan for your life. Go and call that person after you finish watching this video. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. As I said, I recorded this video and I'm so upset because I already recorded it once, and to realize that it was not recording, I was so pissed. It's funny because I'm so sorry. Like, my train of thought is just all over the place right now. The reason why I say call that loved one and don't wait till tomorrow is because I know life is short and you don't realize just how short it is. So I remember the day, it was a Saturday. My mom and dad and I went to the garden center. I love plants and flowers because my mom loved plants and flowers. And from as a little child, I always used to garden with her, putter around in the garden. And it was just so much fun. It was our time together. I loved it. And so, yeah, so it was a Saturday. We went to the garden center, and I remember my mom saying to me, oh, come over tomorrow, Sunday, for dinner. And I said to her, okay, maybe, I don't know yet. Let me see what I'm doing and I'll get back to you. And she's like, what are you doing? What's more important? I'm like, I have stuff to do. And really, please, I don't think I had anything important to do. Sorry, that's my other phone. I don't think I had anything important to really do. But you know how we are. We can always find a million other things to occupy our time with. And it's usually nonsensical stuff. It's usually stuff that's BS. So anyhow, I told her maybe, and I should have went. I remember, so backstory actually. Many years prior, my parents went on a trip out east with some friends, and they had something, my mom had something to eat at a restaurant, and it made her really sick to the point where it damaged both of her kidneys, and which was devastating to us when we found this out. So anyhow, so it damaged her kidneys, and from then basically she had to be on dialysis. And yeah, she had to be on dialysis, and she was going to be on dialysis for a while. And I remember the Thursday my dad called me and said to me, oh, you got to go to the hospital. You got to come down to the hospital. Your mom's not well. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Mom was fine. I just spoke to mom and just saw mom like yesterday. And he's like, no, you got to come to the hospital. She's not well. And he was like he sounded all teary and stuff. And I'm like, okay, this is something serious. I need to get down to the hospital like right away. So anyhow, I jumped in my car, drove down to the hospital, and went to emergency. And I saw my mom and dad sitting there, and I looked at my mom, and suddenly she started to cry. And I'm just like, holy shit, my mom doesn't really cry. This must be serious. So anyhow, I went over and to comfort her, and I'm like, what's going on, mom? And mind you, I'm an only child. So I went over and I'm like, what's going on? So she said to me, or my dad said, oh, she wasn't feeling well. They went to the doctors across the street, and the doctor said to her, you need to go to the hospital like right away. And they were like, why? And they said, oh, because there's blood, there's blood in her stomach, and she has to get it drained. She may need like a blood transfusion. And I'm like, what the hell is happening right now, right? Let's rewind again. Backstory. Sorry, this is going to be like a freaking novel. Let's rewind. So before that, for years and years, I remember my mom saying, so my mom, I don't know how many of you people out there believe in this, that some people have certain gifts, and yeah, some people have certain gifts. And it's funny because my mom was one of those kind of people that had these gifts, to the point where she would dream stuff and about people, family, friends, and she would tell my dad and tell me, and I'm just like, whoa, 1 minute. If you ever dream something about me, just don't tell me. Like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me nothing. Just keep it to yourself, So I remember she said that when she was a child, her grandfather said to her that if anything happens to him, so if he passes or when he passes, she will never dream about him unless something was really wrong with her. Otherwise, she'll never dream him. And so I know it sounds kind of like hokey and stuff, but we're like, okay. So she always told my dad and I that, you know what, my grandfather said, I'll never come to you in your dreams unless something is like detrimental, like you like are serious death, like you need some help kind of thing. Okay. So anyhow, she never jumped her grandfather until one day. So my dad was supposed to go do some blood work at the doctor's, and he was supposed to go, my mom was going to go with him. And my mom woke up the morning and said to him, oh, okay, when you go to the doctor, I'm coming, because she goes to the same doctor. When you go to the doctor, I'm coming. And he's like, why? And she said to him, you remember I told you about my grandfather? What he said to me, if anything, whoops, sorry guys. He said, if anything is wrong with me, that's the only time I'll come to you in your dreams. And he said, yeah, I remember that. I remember you telling me this. So she said, yeah, I had a dream about my grandfather, and he basically, so she said, something's wrong. And my dad kind of shrugged it off like, oh, please, nothing's wrong with you. You're fine. Stop your foolishness kind of thing, So she goes, no, I'm coming to the doctor because something is wrong. My grandfather said he will not come to me in my dreams unless something's wrong with me. So freaking crazy. She goes to the doctors, and that's when the doctor said to her that she needs to go to the hospital because her stomach is full of blood and she needs a blood transfusion. So now, of course, when I go to the hospital now, she tells me this, I was just like, holy shit. Wow. First of all, you dreamt great grandpa and your stomach's full of blood. Like, what the hell? So then I said to her, and she was crying. My dad was crying. And I'm like, you know what? It's all gonna be fine. Not a big deal. Blood transfusion, I got you covered, Ma. Like, I have one of the rare blood types, so I can donate to anybody. But unfortunately, I can't get from anybody, but I can donate to anybody, which is great. So I was like, I got you covered. I am ready. Like, just hook up a needle to me and you're good to go. So it's funny. We go into one of their cubicles and my mom saw the doctor's name. And actually, my mom and my dad and I were there in the cubicle waiting for the doctor to come in. And my mom said that she saw a doctor that she knows, and she whispered, she said to my dad and me, oh my God, I think that Dr. Beard works at this hospital. I hope it's not him. I hope I don't see him tonight because, I don't want people to know my business. My mom is a very private person. She didn't want people to know her business and stuff. So she was like, oh my God, I hope I don't get Dr. Beard. And it's funny enough, as we're sitting there, who do you think comes in the freaking room? Dr. Beard. And my mom almost fainted. So Dr. Beard comes in and says, oh my God, when I looked at the chart and I saw the name, my mom's name is Aini Bell. When the doctor saw her name, he said, I saw the name Aini Bell, and I'm like, there's only one Aini Bell that I've ever known. And he's like, it couldn't be. And yeah, it was him. So my uncle is also a doctor, and they went to school together. That's how Dr. Beard knows my mom. So anyhow, Dr. Beard basically said, he asked her, how's she feeling, and, what's been going on. And, he asked, just usual doctor questions. And we're like, okay, what's his prognosis? Like, what's going on? And that's when he told us that, okay, you know what, both her kidneys were damaged and she needs to go on dialysis. And yeah, it was just like, unfreaking believable, because I remember dialysis. And my dad said to me, oh my God, my dad like broke down crying because he was like, oh, it's like a death sentence. And I said to him, I go, it's not so bad, because you remember one of my teachers in high school, and from one of my teachers from middle school and elementary school, he had kidney problems and his wife donated a kidney. And I was like, okay, this is no biggie. Like, hey, I got 2 kidneys. I can give my mother a kidney. No big deal. Like, what's all the crying and fuss about? And so, of course, my dad was like freaking out that, oh, it's not so easy and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, I got you, Mom. I got you with blood and I got you with a kidney. I'm set. Hook me up and you can have my shit. Anyhow, time passed. Let's fast forward to that present day. So let's fast forward. And yeah, so as I said, my dad called. We went to the hospital and stuff, and time went by. Maybe a year or 2 went by, and she was getting better. Well, I mean, she's always going to be on dialysis, but she used to travel a lot, and she decided they weren't going to travel because she did not trust leaving the country, because she always said that, oh my God, I don't want to go somewhere else, and their health care system is not the same as here, and she's gonna get some kind of infection and she's gonna die there, and so she stopped traveling. And it was sad because she loved to travel. So anyhow, sorry guys, I'm also losing my train of thought because just like remembering all this stuff is just like, oh geez. So anyhow, and I'm sorry if I repeat myself. It's just because, as I said, I've lost my train of thought and I'm just like, it's messing with my head right now. Yeah, so I ended up having a dream. And I remember I called my friend and said, oh my goodness, I know what I'm going to feel like when my mother passes away. And he was like, what the hell's that all about? And I said, oh, I had a dream that my mom passed away and I was actually at her funeral and I know what it's going to feel like. And he's like, oh, stop crying. Nothing's going to happen to her. She's not going anywhere soon. And yada, yada, yada. And so anyhow, I remember the day my dad calls me. It was like, sorry, let's rewind for a second. So I remember we went to the garden center, and the day now that my dad calls and said, you need to come to the house like now, like fast forward, get to the house like ASAP. And I'm like, what's going on? And he's like, your mom's not well. And I'm like, what do you mean she's not well? I just spoke to her like yesterday. He's like, yeah, you need to get to the house now. And I'm like, okay. So of course my heart drops and I start to panic and freak out. And I don't know, I decided like I need to shower. So I jumped in the shower, and I was in the shower and my dad called again. And I'm like, holy shit, like what's going, like, oh my God, this is really bad. So I pretty much like, I think I just washed the soap off, got dressed, jumped in my car, and started to speed. It's only God that got me to my mother's house in one piece, because honest to God, I was probably going to die that day myself, because I literally jumped on the highway and I sped down the highway like a crazy woman. When I got off the highway, I went through every red light known to man. Like I did not care what stop sign or what red light was coming up. I was just in panic mode. Like my heart was racing. Like I just felt sick to my stomach. Like oh God, just thinking about it right now makes me want to throw up. Yeah. So anyhow, I got to my street. I could not even get on my freaking street. I got to the top of my street and I pulled up in front of one of my neighbor's houses. And when I looked down the street, so my house is probably like maybe, I would say 6 houses from the top of the street. It's a small street. So I pulled up, parked in front of my neighbor's house, and looked down the street, and I saw like 2 fire trucks and 1 ambulance, and my heart sunk. I got out of the car, slammed the car door, and I just started running down the street, and I couldn't run fast enough to get to my house. And as soon as I got to the house, like I saw there was like neighbors out on the lawn and stuff, and onlookers, like people just like worried and just people like in shock. And I broke down bawling, because as I got to the house, I saw them bringing my mom out in an ambulance, and they were still doing compressions on her, working on her, trying to revive her. And like I don't even know what to say. Like my heart just like literally stopped. And I was just crying uncontrollably, just like, Mom, please don't go. Like, oh my God, like you can't do this. I'm an only child, and I was just like devastated. Oh my God. My dad's bawling his eyes out. I'm like freaking out. And, they're trying to, work on her, and with no avail. Like they just kept working on her, and they're like, okay, we're going to meet you at the hospital. And we're like, yeah, we're going to get to the hospital. And so I was just like a mess, man. I was a freaking mess. Got to the hospital, and they were still trying to revive her. I think she came back for a minute, and then she had like a heart attack. And yeah, and then they told us that she was gone. And I was just like, holy shit. Like I didn't even know what to say. Like I didn't even know what to do. Like I didn't even know who to call. Like my dad was there, of course, and I'm thinking, oh my God, all her cousins and her relatives, and wow, like these people just said my mom's gone. Like I was beside myself. It was like somebody just ran me over with a freaking truck. It was the worst feeling ever. I remember after she passed a couple of times coming home from work. So on my way home from work, I'd have to pass the direction where I'd come off to go to her house to visit. And it was automatic. Like it was automatic where I would just call her on my way home from work. And there's a couple of times at first, I would dial the number, and as it rang and then the answer machine came on, I'd be like, oh shit, yeah. mom's not there anymore. You know, mom's not there. I had got a little bit of comfort hearing her voice on the answer machine, but it was like, wow, she's never going to answer that phone ever again. Like, it's so messed up. I won't hear her laugh. You know, like when you tell her a joke or she hears something funny and she does this stupid laugh where her whole body shakes. It was so ridiculous. I won't hear that. I remember at the time too, my phone was having problems and I was gonna switch providers. And I remember I had a message on my phone from her, and I made sure, like, I asked the provider if when I change my phone, if the messages will still remain, like if they can be transferred. And they said, yeah, sure, no problem, no problem. And I said to them, I have a message on this phone. It's my mom leaving me a message, and I cannot lose that message. I cannot lose that message. Like, I will be completely heartbroken if I lose that message. And they assured me, nope, it's not going to happen. I'll have that message, no problem. And I could have killed them when I got my phone and the message was erased. Like, my heart just sunk. I was just so pissed off. Oh, man. This is why I say, if you have a chance to call somebody that you haven't spoken to in a while and tell them that you love them, don't wait. Don't wait. Do it. As soon as you finish watching this video, call that person. Like, ASAP. Do not wait. You know, it's funny. Growing up, I always had a lot of friends. And I would say, oh yeah, this person's my best friend, that person's my best friend, that person's my best friend. You know, but in reality, I didn't realize my best friend was my mom. My best friend was my mom. You know, and when I think about it, you know, it's like I will never get to talk to her again. You know, she will never get to make me Christmas dinner again. You know, when the clock goes back, as big as I am, when the clock goes back or forward, my mom would call me and remind me, make sure you put your clock back. Make sure you put your clock forward. Be like, yes, Mom, don't worry, I won't forget. You know, when you're sick, my mom would call me and say, come over for some soup, or come over, I'm gonna make you some soup, or whatever. Like, okay, Mom. Like, my mom used to send me, you know how people send you those motivational emails and stuff? My mom used to get them from her friends, and then she'd forward them on to me. And I literally have so many of those emails still. I even have some that I haven't even opened. And I look back now, and I wish I had opened them all. I wish I had told her, thank you, Mom. Thank you for those amazing emails that your friends sent to you and that you forwarded to me and shared with me. Thank you, Mom. I wish I had the chance to tell her how amazing she was. That she was the best mom ever. And that I appreciated her so much. My mom was my world. My mom was amazing. I used to do dancing. From 6 years old, I did dancing. I did jazz, acro, tap, ballet. I did everything. My parents put me in every kind of thing you could possibly think of. I did modeling. I played baseball. I did everything. And I remember when I did dancing, my mom would actually, because you have competitions and stuff, and you had to get the sequins sewn on your costume. My mom would be up like till 2 o'clock sometimes in the morning, sewing all those sequins on my costumes by hand. Like my mom, it's so funny. At my mom's funeral, her friend even told me that, you know what? Sometimes when you misbehave as a child, your mom would come to work and she'd tell me the bad stuff that you did. I mean, you're a child, the mischievous stuff that I would do. And she would be so mad at me, and she would tell her friend how mad she was at me. But her friend also said, but God forbid somebody would say something bad about me. Oh my God, my mother would tear them to shreds. My mom was my biggest cheerleader. Like, honestly, when my mom passed away, that shit messed me up. That shit messed me up bad. Like, I used to go to the gym back then. Like, my friends know, like, I would be at the gym 3 times a day. I know that sounds messed up, right? Crazy. Yeah. But I was like oh my God. Oh, I loved the gym because it relieves stress. I loved everything about going to the gym. I was one of those girls that I didn't go to the gym because, to show off an outfit or check out men and stuff like that. I went there to work out, to do my stuff. I loved it. Oh my God. Like, to the point where my friends would call me and say, oh, okay, what machine are you on? Because they knew if I wasn't at home, I was at the gym on some machine. I would go to the gym first thing before work. I go to the gym on my lunch at work, and I go to the gym on my way home from work. That's how dedicated I was to the gym. Girl, guy, let me tell you, when my mom passed away, that gym was just making money off of me. I literally did not go to the gym for probably like 8 years. They were just getting money. Like, and I didn't cancel my membership. That's just me being stupid, but I was broken. I was broken. When you talk about broken, it's like when you take a glass, when you take a glass and just throw it on the floor and it smashes into a million pieces. That was me. You never get over the death of your mother. You really don't. It maybe gets a little less painful, but you never forget about it. Like, it feels like yesterday. Like, it's been how many years now, but it feels like yesterday. Your mom, man. Like, that's your mom. Your mom is like your ride or die. Like, your mom. Like, think about it. Your mom is like your everything. Like, Christmases are not the same. Like, my mom would put up a Christmas tree, and like, from as a child, she used to have like little gnome little things that go around. Like, not the gnome, but like, they're like little things that you take one of the bulbs out of the Christmas string and plug it into that plug, and they spin. So I have like those little things that spin on a Christmas tree, and I'd have like the train set below it. Like, Christmas was like my thing. I loved Christmas because my mom loved Christmas. I loved decorating. Christmas was amazing. Christmas dinners were amazing. Like, Christmas was like amazing. Like, when I tell you. And when my mom passed away, Christmas hasn't been the same, man. Yeah. I'm trying really hard not to friggin' cry and be a crybaby here. And I'm sorry, guys. I know this video is like super duper long, and I think I've rambled on a lot and lost train of thought quite a bit during this video, but bear with me. If you don't take anything else away from this video, take this one thing away. Don't wait till tomorrow. Do not wait till tomorrow. Don't put it off. Call that person that you love. It could be 5 people. It could be 10 people. It could be 1 person. But call them. Tell them you love them. Tell them you love them, because you know what? If you wait, they might not be around to hear I wish I could call my mom and tell her I love her. You know, it's so messed up. I felt so guilty after she passed away because so many times she said, come over, come over. And I was like, oh, no, mom, I'm busy. I have stuff to do. I got this to do. I got that to do. None of those things were important. None of those things were freaking important. And I could have done those things any other time. I regret all those times I said, no, I'm not coming over. I'm too busy. I'm too busy. I got stuff to do. Yeah, don't put it off. So, that is my story. You got to know a little bit more about me. I'm sorry if I bored you to tears. But call. Don't wait. All right? Once again, I'm sorry for the long ass video. You guys have a wonderful evening. All right? Bye for now. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right, guys? Call. Turn this video off. Get off whatever you're doing. Get off the phone. Stop watching Netflix. Stop scrolling on YouTube for at least 10-15 minutes and call. Tell them you love them. All right? You'll thank me later and you won't regret it. Bye, guys.